My late husband had always stopped me from finding love again. So when I met a coworker and finally felt happiness for the first time in years, I told him I couldn't do it. But he refused to take no as my answer. I lost my husband 10 years ago after he succumbed to his illness, and after getting served the $150,000 medical bill, I miscarried our baby due to stress. I was broken, so I sold my home and moved away, using the remaining money to buy a small apartment and start new. People say being a widower is hard, but it's impossible to explain. I still wear my wedding ring after 10 years, and still carry the pics of our first ultrasound in my wallet. I truly believed I'd never find love again. I even became an alcoholic at one point. But then I met my coworker Jason, and he changed everything. Or at least he came as close as humanly possible. You see, he was in the middle of a nasty divorce with his abusive wife, who hid him in front of the kids. His parents lived close by, and wanted to move to somewhere warmer, but not until the end of the year. The divorce was ruining him financially, and inflation made it impossible for him to get a place. So, I made a decision that I'm still unsure if it's the best or the worst of my life. I offered him a bedroom. He tried to decline because he had 2 little girls, 6 and 7. He couldn't leave them. His wife wanted everything but them, and wanted to sign over rights in exchange for their house, that he paid for. It was heartbreaking, and if anything made me more determined to help. I agreed to let him and his girls move in for 30 days as a trial. Well, it's been 9 months, and it's been amazing. But there is where it gets sad. I've fallen in love with him and the girls. I haven't felt like this since my wedding day. I tried squishing down my feelings at first, but every time he made breakfast, every time he booped my nose, and every time the girls asked to play, my heart melted. I was getting used to feeling alive again. But then last month, Jason came with news. His parents agreed to let him move into their house, and he and the girls were finally gonna give me peace. I remember my heart dropped. I congratulated him, but on the inside, I was crying. And this is where I made the oopsie boopsie of a lifetime. You see, he moved out last weekend, but before he did, I made a huge goodbye dinner on their last day. I went all out, even making my late husband's favorite meal. I remember the girls ate dessert and got banana pudding on their nose, and I was overcome with emotion. This was the last day I would feel joy for likely the rest of my life. And then came time for them to go. The 3 of them climbed into his car to go to their new home, and through the window I hugged him. I held him for too long, and in that exact moment, I leaned in and went to kiss him on the cheek. He went to do the same, and we kissed on the lips. Neither of us pulled away until one of his girls made an "ee" screech. I went red and mumbled something before closing the door. I remember he came back in the middle of the night and knocked asking to talk, but I didn't open it. He kept calling me and texting me, but I didn't respond. I just cried, feeling like I had cheated on my husband. I remember one of the days I got drunk, and after some rambling to myself atop a hill, I concluded that when it comes to Jason, it was the life I should have had by now, with my husband here with me, the 2 kids we planned on having in a house with toys, laughter, cries, and spats. This should have been my life. But the man in my house was the wrong person. It wasn't my 6'2" green-eyed Prince Charming, and as much as I loved them, the girls weren't ours. I missed my husband, and I missed even more the life we were robbed of. I realized that nothing would compare to my husband, and I didn't want anything to compare it to. And so, I made the decision to rob myself of happiness. I looked through Jason's texts and started reading them for the first time. They went from him just asking me to talk, to him saying there was something we had and he didn't want to lose, to him apologizing, and finally to him asking if we could return to being friends and just forgetting everything. When I saw that last text, I put my adult pants on and called him. I told him everything. I told him that he was freshly divorced too, and I wasn't a rebound. That with my insecurities and comparisons to my husband, it wouldn't be fair to pursue anything with him. Because even though I think I fell in love with him, I need time to confirm if it's with him or just the life I was supposed to have. Thankfully, he understood. He asked if we could still be friends, and I swear my heart involuntarily skipped a beat. I jumped so fast at that option, because as much as I don't want him, I want him. I missed him, I missed the girls, I missed having meaning, I missed waking up feeling like SpongeBob and not Squidward, and then, he said he wanted me to come over for Christmas. He didn't ask me to, he wanted me to. I was so excited. I couldn't wait to see him again. I bought the girls some presents from me and Santa that same day, and told him I'll come over tonight once the girls go sleep and stay until after Christmas. He seemed so happy. I swear I heard the man smile through the phone. But unfortunately, life isn't sunshine and rainbows. I told him that as excited as I was to see him again, we needed to have that adulting talk that a phone conversation won't suffice for. He promised me we would, and he also promised me that whatever happened, I was special. I felt my heart flutter, and all I could respond through my blushes was, "You're special too, Jason." But then when as I said it, I realized I couldn't stop it, and it was happening all over again. I started stammering and quickly hung up saying I'll be there soon. I'm going over right now. Jason's POV. In November 2021, my family and I moved towns into a neighborhood near my parents. I wanted to be close to them. They're in their 70s, and times are taking their toll on them. My wife wasn't too keen on it, but our 2 kids were happy to see their grandparents more. I commuted to my job until I was able to get an in-town transfer to my current location. Come to find out, my wife reignited an old flame of hers and started cheating on me. My 3rd month into my new job, she tells me she wants a divorce, wants the house, and wants to sign over the kids. Her boyfriend has his kids, and they want to move into the house and be one big happy family. I moved into my parents' place. They have 1 spare bedroom because the others are basically storage. My kids would stay with their mom until I could find at least a 2-bedroom. My parents told me they want to move by the end of the year and either sell or give me the house. I just have to do something by then. Rent's nuts out here, then my wife throws on me that her new man and his kids are moving in now and not getting along with mine. So she agrees to make it quick and sign over rights to mine as long as she keeps the house. I had become friends with Hope at work. The day came, I told her about needing to move and find a spot for me and my kids. She offered her home. I asked if her husband would mind, and she told me she didn't have one anymore. See, she still wore a wedding ring, and I never bothered to ask about it, just always assumed she was married. It appears he passed away a decade ago and she just still wore the ring. We move in, and it's a dream. I see this woman in a light I never thought of before. My kids loved her. She never put their mom down. She made them breakfast, lunch, and dinner on her off days, and she would take them out to do girl things that I had no idea. She even took them to school clothes shopping when I ran short on time to be able to do it. Hope just seemed happy as hell to be around us and have us there. She was this warm, beautiful, caring woman I didn't notice because I was too tied up in my own mess to see it, and her ring threw me off. The day I got to my parents' house, I made a big mistake. I kissed her. She freaked out, asked me to drop my key off later, and ran inside. I texted her and called her, but she didn't get back to me for a week. She said that with me being freshly divorced, she didn't want to be a rebound, and she didn't want me to be one either. I said she was right just to placate her, but she wasn't. I asked her over for Christmas, and she said yes because she has gifts for my kids. She came over and spent the night. She slept on the sofa and hung out with us until after dinner. My kids were through the moon with her there, and now they keep asking when they're gonna see her again. We've been great at work, but I keep wanting more. I don't know if I should just date or whatever. She dated while we lived there, but nothing ever happened after the first or second date. It's getting harder to see her as just a friend anymore. Hope's POV. I spent the night at Jason's on Christmas Eve. We talked for hours, until 2 a.m. It felt like home again. We fell asleep on the couch, and the girls woke us up. We did breakfast, we did lunch, we did presents, we did dinner. When I finally left, I thought I had some closure. I noticed Jason was on his phone more often this week. Finally, I got it out of him. He downloaded some dating apps and had a hit. It's not shocking it was so soon. Jason is fucking gorgeous, okay? He doesn't look like he's in his 40s. He is so beautiful, I used to joke with him that he looks like a fucking GQ model freshly stepped off the page. And he's funny, and he's smart, and he doesn't deserve to pine after someone who doesn't know what in the hell she wants because she never thought about it before. He asked me to babysit the girls so he could go out on a New Year's date. I had to say yes, or whatever we discussed. Christmas Eve wouldn't have mattered. So here I am, alone on New Year's. We drank his fancy, expensive Scotch Christmas that he got as a wedding gift because I had to charge something for this babysitting gig. He is feeling some way because he's out there, with someone else, ringing in the new year, and he deserves to be happy. And I do too. I just put the girls to bed. I knew they wouldn't have lasted till midnight. Jason's POV. Am I the a-hole for asking a woman who I thought had feelings to watch my kids when I went on a date? Long story short, I'm divorced. It was finalized a couple of months back. During the mess of my divorce, I and my 2 kids moved in with a coworker named Hope for about 9 months, give or take. She was great to us and my kids loved her. Honestly, I felt the same. I thought what she felt for me was more than friends, so I kissed her before I moved out to my current place. It ended up being a mistake. She ghosted me for a week before she finally called me. I thought we got over it over Christmas. Well, I didn't want to hold back for a woman who didn't feel the same, so I did the dating app thing and got a date for New Year. I asked Hope if she could watch my kids while I went out, and she agreed. I went out, had a great time, and came back at 3 a.m. to Hope passed out on my sofa. I threw a blanket on her and went to bed myself, expecting to make breakfast for her and mine, but she left before I woke up. The morning after, I asked her if she could watch my kids again while I set up a second date. She immediately declined, saying she was having her sister and brother-in-law over this week. Her sister has 3 kids of her own, and yeah, Hope has a big house, but with everyone there, she wouldn't have time to watch mine. I understood and said I'd find other accommodations. Well, this morning, I see Hope tagged in a sappy post by who I assume is her sister, and I check that page. Sure enough, it is her sister, and her sister's family is spending the next 3 weeks out of the country, and not with Hope. Now, I know she only has one sister, so I asked her what was up. She kind of stuttered a bit, and said yeah, she can watch my kids, and to go ahead and set up the second date. When I asked her why she lied to me, she brushed me off and told me to stop being an AH, and I got what I needed. Am I the a-hole for even asking her again? I know she lied to me about her family visiting. She told me she didn't have any feelings for me like I do her. Hope's POV. I posted here because I needed to vent and throw my FU at people so they could see that even I could do something as silly as fall for someone I shouldn't have. Not when I still wore a wedding ring from someone who left me long ago. The ring told me my heart and soul still belonged to someone else, even though I no longer had theirs. I posted here because I needed to vent out everything, needed to give me closure, needed to figure out why this man, whom you now all know as Dan, rocked my universe by just becoming a part of it. I was told to go for it, and I excused it all with, no, I'm still a mourning widow who can't fathom taking her ring off. I theoretically clutched my pearls at such a thought. But you guys want to know the good part, don't you? And you guys deserve to know it too, because if it weren't for you, there wouldn't be a good part. On Christmas morning, he made breakfast. I came to the kitchen and had to do a double take. Granted, I was uncaffeinated, so in my sleepy state, I had expected to see my husband. But when he turned and smiled at me with a grin big enough to reach his eyes, I didn't feel sadness or disappointment that those eyes weren't green. He didn't give me a cute smirk like my husband used to, but a smile with so much damn teeth. For real, Dan, you have so many teeth, and I am so happy your girls have your smile, and that you have great dental. It was then I realized I was fucking wrong. I wasn't prepared to be wrong, to lose my grip on my pearls, so to speak. I just wasn't prepared. I wasn't ready to see someone else in my dreams. I sure wasn't ready for that someone else to be someone I considered my best friend for a long time. So when Dan had asked me to watch the girls so he could get a second date, to be honest, it hurt. Like hell. Even though I told him to move on, I was pissed he did because I didn't. I fumbled up an excuse about my sister coming over but didn't think it clear enough that my sister and her family usually head overseas during this time. He found out she wasn't gracing me with her presence and asked me why I lied. I just said, oh yeah, I'll watch the girls, no problem. But he said he already had a sitter and wanted to know why I lied. I said I didn't. I forgot. But lo and behold, when you live with someone, they pick up on your calls. Dan said, no, you're lying. I don't care if you can't, or even if you're not up for it. That's fine. Just be honest with me. I called him an asshole and said I'd be there. Just tell me the time. He said to come over for breakfast, and we can talk out whatever is wrong with us like adults hope, that thing we're trying to be. Well, that night, he made a post, and a few of you found some similarities that were too convenient to be coincidental. So late that night, I got a call from him, which I ignored twice. The third time was a charm, and I advised him where to stick a few amenities for waking me up until he blurted out, you named me after your cat? Yes. I named my cat Jason. He's a seal point, and he has a cute mask. He's the size of a small dog and looks at me like he wants to kill me in my sleep. I love him. South. We talked for about a half hour or so. He said he had to see me but wouldn't leave his girls alone that late. He asked me to take a personal day tomorrow and said he'd do the same. I said no, but I could come over. He said only if I could stay the night. So I grabbed some extra clothes, put on my comfy bright pink bear claw slippers. Yes, they're as magnificent as they sound. Filled the feeder for my chubby boy Jason, and headed over. We talked until about 3 a.m., and he said he would take a personal day and I should do the same. Well, you couldn't twist my arm fast enough at that point, so I agreed and grabbed some blankets. But he stopped me. He asked me if I could try sleeping in the same bed as him. The typical fare of him being over the covers, I'd be under them. He promised to wear clean underwear, yada yada. Color me surprised at agreeing with him, and me crying for the first 20 minutes and being held by someone who didn't understand why, but understood that I just needed to freaking cry, and then being held by someone because I needed it, and then being held by someone because I wanted it, and then being held by someone because they just wanted to. And yeah, I fell in love again, okay? I freaking fell in love. Again. Except this time, I know what it is. And it was happening long, long ago, and I was too scared to understand it. But I should have noticed something when he transferred in, and I saw him for the first time. He was handsome, and not even he could deny that. But when he smiled with all those damn teeth, he just became so much warmer. And real, I guess. I just felt like I had to be near him. Even when he made terrible dad jokes and gave himself heartburn with his spicy food addiction, he refused to take responsibility for it. I lived for those moments, and when they were gone, I was miserable. I never knew how falling in love felt. My husband and I were born in love with each other, so I never experienced this before, so I was scared. And don't get me wrong, I'm still scared. I've been on theme park rides that are less anxiety-inducing than this. We agreed to take this one day at a time. We know we're going to have setbacks, and we know we must hide it from the girls. For now, I'm also transferring departments to keep things a bit more under wraps, but we're trying it. We are trying it. We're making it happen. I'm in love with him. I have been. I just had no clue what it was. It felt like I was floating and trying not to sink. And when I met the girls, I had no choice but to drown and succumb to the peace. I have random Redditors to thank for saving me from a lifetime of regret. Big girl trousers are on everyone, although he still can't believe I named him after my cat. Well, I love my cat too. There's that. Jason's POV. Thank you kindly. Can't wait to marry that girl, but she wants to wait a bit. I'm in no hurry right now, but my kids are happy she's going to be a forever part of our lives.